Hey, what's up, guys? This is Carlos, and I know this is I'm kind of late on this, but I think it'd be pretty cool to do kind of like videos like this where I read comics that people already read 2, 3 years, whatever, and it's kind of just like a throwback. And my hair's a mess. My hair's always a mess in this. Uh, and today I'm gonna be talking about probably my favorite comic book story in a while. Is that too brave to say? I don't know. Listen. So we're gonna be talking about Superman Earth One. Now, Superman Earth One is kind of like an Elseworld style story, uh, and it's about Superman. And what's really cool when I was reading through it, I said Zack Snyder got a lot of inspiration from this book when he made Man of Steel, and you can feel it. So there's 3 volumes, and I got all 3 volumes right here. They're all hardback, and they're all pretty cool. So I'm just gonna talk about it. Spoilers, maybe non-spoilers. I don't know. Like, you let me know if I spoiled a lot. For those who have read it, let me know if I spoil it. So I'm gonna talk about it very deeply. So I might spoil it. Just I don't know. So we're gonna start with the first one, Superman Earth One. I really hope they release a collection of all these together as one, and it should be hardcover. I'll definitely collect that. Definitely get that. Um, but yeah, so and so the story starts off with Clark Kent moving to Metropolis, and he gets an apartment. And what's really cool about this is you see him, trying to get different jobs. There's a lot of flashbacks. It's definitely like Man of Steel. So he gets different jobs, and all these jobs are like good paying jobs. So he becomes, I think there's like a part where he becomes like a baseball player. Or was that a flashback? Anyways, one of my favorite parts, he goes to this lab, right? And there's a lot of scientists, working on this thing. And I think they're trying to figure out about, you know, how to take like energy from water or something like that. Salt energy. I could be wrong about that part. And he talks to the main guy there, and he's like, "Well, what are they working on?" He's like, "Well, they're working on this." And he's like, "How long have they been working on?" He's like, "Years." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he looks at all the numbers and all that stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I just," he writes something down. He's like, "Give him this." So he gives it to the guy. The guy goes in, and there's no words or whatever. There's no, they don't say anything. It just shows them looking at the numbers, looking up, changing the equations to whatever Clark gave them, and then they're like hyping, they high five, and then the guy comes back and he's like, "Oh my gosh, don't leave." And there's a lot of stuff that happens. But then, well, him getting a job, and they're all good paying jobs that will, take care of him and his mom for lifetimes, right? And then he calls his mom, and she says, like, "I don't want you to do this for me. I want you to do this for you." And I mean, that hit super hard. And the best part, I was listening to the Man of Steel soundtrack as I was reading this, and I forgot the name of the sound of the song, but it's super mellow, super beautiful, super sad. Uh, and it was like doom doom, and it was like super cool, and I started almost tearing up. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" And so Superman goes in, or Clark Kent goes in, and he meets this girl, and she's like his neighbor, like his hallway neighbor. And then she starts flirting with him, and he's very, very Clark Kent, very like, "Oh, I don't know about this," and all those different things. And he gets a job at the Daily Bugle, and Lois doesn't even notice him. She doesn't even care about him. She wants to, take care of this story that she needs to go through. And Olsen, Jimmy Olsen is there, and you can tell they're good at their job because there's a part later on where something happens super fast, and he takes the picture, right? And Perry he says, "Did you got the picture?" And he smiles. Jimmy Olsen with this big cocky smile says, "Oh, I always get the last picture." And it's super good. It is super good. Everyone in here is just fleshed out, super amazing, looking super good. And in the first volume, you get to meet this the bad guy. His name is Tyrell, who is from a different planet that was at war, semi at war with Krypton. And Superman puts on the Superman suit, and it is super good. He puts on the Superman suit, and they fight, and Superman is his first time, fighting, so he's going through buildings and stuff, and people give Man of Steel so much trash and so much crap about that. And there was times like if you actually pay attention to the movie, he tries to fly off and like take him to different parts of town, but they just bring him back. These guys are unstoppable forces. Why are people complaining about Man of Steel? So yeah, that happened in volume one. It is so good, super heartfelt. Oh my gosh. In volume two, let me check. Like I said, in volume two, we get to meet this guy who, uh, we go to the story of this guy who is a killer. He's like a very like crazy guy. And long story short, he turns into Parasite. And Parasite's this really skinny, scrawny thing who starts, eating energy and stuff like that. So what he does is he starts taking energy from people, and he starts, killing a lot of people. It kind of reminded me of like Carnage from like Ultimate Carnage, from the Ultimate Spider-Man run. That's what it reminded me of. And he's just killing all these people. He doesn't kill anybody important on Clark's life, but it's like you still feel for these people. It's crazy. And he has a sister too. Something sad happens. Um, and you need to get that book if you want to know what happened. It's super sad. Unless you already know based on what I just said. And the point is, Superman goes in and Parasite is just too powerful. And there's like a shot in the comic where if you flip the book the other way, is this giant, fight scene of them going at it, and it's like super cool. And Clark Kent, defeats the Parasite because, well, at first he loses, and then when he comes back, the robot or like the uh, yeah, I guess like the AI that he's talking to in his little fortress of solitude, gives him this like uh, kind of like see-through style armor on top of him to protect him from Parasite. So he goes in and just starts, fighting Parasite, and uh, Parasite gets destroyed. Superman wins, right? Uh, and let me check this out. Hold on. So yeah, Superman beats Parasite, and Clark Kent. Oh, this is a really cool part where Clark Kent comes back to the apartments and he sees the new chick. She's getting beat by this one guy. I think it's her boyfriend or ex or whatever. And he comes in and he's like, "No, sir." Well, he doesn't say it like that, but he grabs him. He takes him all the way to like Alaska or something, and he's like, "I'm not gonna kill you, but if you stay here, you're gonna die. There's a town. If you start walking that way, so I'm not killing you, so you can live. And if once you make it, I don't want you to go over there again. I don't want you to touch her again." It's super cool and super like, yeah, I would do the same. If I was Superman, I would do the same. I would just grab the dude. I mean, probably I would probably knock him out with like a flip or something. I don't know. Point is, Superman comes back or Clark Kent comes back and everything's good. Everything's okay. And I'm gonna check if it's in here where she. Hold on, this is really cool. Oh, anyways, so that happens in story 2, and between story 2 and story 3, uh, there's a part where the chick finds out he's Clark Kent because she forgot like her earring at his apartment, so she comes back. Oh, she lets the landowner know, like, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna get my earrings. He's totally cool with this. He's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, we're really good friends. Blah blah blah. And all right, so he lets her in, and she's looking around. She grabs her earring, and she looks at a mirror because they're her lucky earrings, right? She wants to get a job as an actress, or something like that. And then she looks at the mirror, and she sees, blue or whatever. And then she turns around, and she sees a Superman logo. And she's like, oh my gosh! And then she goes out running, whatever. And then her and she's very awkward with Clark Kent. She's like, what if you know it's super good. You have to get the book to like just them talking to each other is so cool. There's even a story he tells her about a kitten he had, and oh man, super super good. And at the end, in volume 3, in well, at the end of volume 2, you get to meet the Luthers, and I say Luthers because you get to meet Alexandra Luthor and Alex Luthor, and they're married, and they're both the Lex, you know, the second power, which was kind of cheesy. Oh, that's stupid. I thought it was kind of stupid. I mean, I don't know. Look, I liked it. I just didn't know why they did that. But well, that was at first, and then I was like, you know what, this could actually work, and then it did. And at the end of the third book, this is where I'm gonna go spoiler less or non spoiler because you guys definitely need to read this part. Zod arrives, and there's a lot of like deceiving with the people, with Clark Kent. You know, he knows one thing, and the people know another thing, or they think they know, and Superman and Zod just go at it, and uh, yeah, that's about it. The only thing that I might have an issue with, which is whatever, I mean, we've seen it happen so many times that I really don't care if it works, if it didn't work in here, was the fact that Lois and and Clark don't get together. It's Clark and the his neighbor, and then he flies her home, and they meet Mama Kent, or she meets Mama Kent. It's super cool, super amazing, super heartfelt. All these books are heartfelt. The first two books also end in like newspaper articles. It's pretty cool. It's super amazing. Definitely check out Superman Earth 1. I don't know the reviews it has gotten or whatever, but I definitely, if you're a fan of Man of Steel, which I am, it's one of my favorite superhero movies, probably my favorite superhero movie of all time. Second to Spider Man 2. I don't know. They go at war with each other in my head. So yeah, Superman Earth 1, definitely recommended. And yeah, if you're a Superman fan and like to see him grounded, definitely recommended. So yeah, I'm Carlos. This was comic. What should I call this? Comics I read. I don't know. This is a comic I read. Freaking loved it. And inspired me to make this video. See you guys. Love you guys. See you around.